And you just got back from Israel, Jordan, and Egypt. There's been a number of delegations to go. And on the outside, seeing House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and Representative Steny Hoyer, more than a dozen other congressional members together, looks like, oh, that's nice. They're getting along, especially since we haven't seen a lot of bipartisanship in Congress. So do trips like this help?
Certainly, trips like this do help. I was on a different trip. I'm a member of the House Intelligence Committee, and I went as part of a congressional delegation with the House Intelligence Committee. So important that we, as members of that committee, demonstrate a united front, Democrats and Republicans working together on our national security priorities, and particularly in the region, Jordan, Israel, Egypt, places where we have strong and important partnerships on issues of regional stability, on efforts to counter terrorism. These were our priorities that we made known to the host nations and the partners that we met throughout the course of our meetings.
Yeah, and talk to us more about some of the goals for your specific delegation in this visit.
As members of the House Intelligence Committee, certainly we have, and I know this, I'm also a former CIA officer, we have extraordinarily close working relationships with the security services in Israel, in Egypt, in Jordan, and being there in our oversight role to work with and meet with members of the American intelligence community serving abroad, but also the liaison partners, the foreign security services that our domestic U.S. Intelligence community organizations work with. It's incredibly important that they know that we're watching, that we're engaging, and that we're certainly there to provide oversight, but also to represent the United States abroad and present a very clear commitment from both sides of the aisle to our national security priorities, in this particular case in the Middle East.
And Congresswoman, there's a lot of tension between Israel and Palestine this week. Now, the U.S. has strongly supported Israel for years, but some would also say U.S. delegations visiting the country emboldened Israeli leaders to attack Palestine. So based off of your trip, were there efforts made to bring peace in the region?
I would also note that among the individuals with whom we met were members of the Palestinian Authority, their security services, their leadership, making a very, very clear message, again, in a bipartisan manner, members of the House Intelligence Committee, Democrats and Republicans together, meeting with the Palestinian Authority security services to thank them for their role in trying to work towards solutions, certainly with the U.S. goal of a two-state solution, but also in their extraordinary work and partnership in fighting terrorism in the region. And so I think it's important that we met with individuals across the board that have a voice and need to have that continued voice at the table. And I'm proud that we were there to engage in that discussion with them, as in addition to our Israeli partners. And
we have less than 30 seconds. So there was more controversy when Speaker McCarthy invited Israeli leaders to Congress. It was just days after President Biden said he wouldn't invite Prime Minister Netanyahu to the White House. How does that come off to you, not being united to the international community, especially after your trip?
Having served overseas in a national security role, I think it's important that when we cross the ocean or exit the United States, that we are singing from the same sheet of music. I think it's unfortunate that the speaker attempted to kind of one-up the president, and certainly it does create challenges. But it's one that our State Department and members of the administration, I think, will contend with. But it is incredibly important that we, as Americans and representatives of the United States government, be it the legislative branch or the executive branch, be coordinated in our priorities.
All right, Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger, thank you so much for being here, for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.